Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brackets Creations. Thank you very much for joining me here today. I am just going to have a quick little shout out to the folks that are in the chat at the moment. Michael Mullet, hello, I am glad you got the notification. Michael's Workshop, hello. SadMac356, hello. Joe's Computer Museum is here. Steve is here. Ezekiel Blah. Retro Techie, Justin Morgan, Apple's Anonymous, Patrick is here, Garth Beagle is here. Now I've got to remember this, Mike, because we went through this last time. Mike Rojas. That was it, wasn't it? Rojas, I'm pretty sure. Sam Johnson, Dana Siberia is here. Another Patrick is here. Let's see if we can break the record for Patricks today. Last time I think we got at least 3 Patricks on, but today we've now got 2. So let's see if we can get more Patricks on. Did I say hello to Garth? I think I did. Mike is here. Hello. So anyhow, thank you everyone. It might seem like a weird day for me to be live streaming. I'm not normally a Monday live streamer, Monday my time of course, but it is actually a public holiday here at the moment, so I've got the day off, so I can do a live stream on a Monday with impunity. So here I am, and I even tidied my desk yesterday. I was about to say cleaned my desk, but that's not quite the same. I tidied my desk yesterday, so I do have a little bit more space here, which is nice. I can actually see little gaps. Let me just move these out of the way. So yeah, I haven't, Joey Ma Antonio, hello from Sydney, hello to the Philippines. Charlie is here, how's it going? John Kidd, hello, thank you. John, my cousin in California, thank you very much. I appreciate that, the compliments for the little thumbnail that I did. I just always like to try and generate the interest, you know what I mean? So, okay, it's Labor Day, that is correct. And it is actually starting to warm up here. It is a beautiful 24 degrees C. I think it's supposed to get up to about 27. It's a little bit warmer here in my workshop, but that's okay. I've got my little air conditioner here, blowing cool air on me. Nice. So, what are we going to look at today? Well, we've got a few different things. I have a Macintosh Classic analog board that was brought to me by a customer who had recapped it and it's still not working. I thought I might take a look at that today and see if we can figure out what's going on with that. I've got, for those who might have watched some of my oldest live streams, I've got the Spaghetti Mac 2, which I'm feeling compelled to try and have a look at that again, see if I can get that working. So this is a Macintosh 2 logic board that was sent to me with quite a lot of damage, and someone had a go at repairing it, and so they'd run a whole lot of traces, little bits of wire to repair traces, and that's why I called it the Spaghetti Mac. And I sort of cleaned all those off and done a lot of tidying, but it still doesn't work, so I wouldn't mind trying to get that going again. I've still got a little mound of Macintosh LC2s to recap, and then I've got a couple of other recaps that I've done before that are having a few problems, like they're nearly working but not quite, so we'll just see how we go. We'll just get through whatever we can. Thomas Armstrong, hello. Yeah, so some Geiger on the shirt today. Yes, indeed. For those who may or may not know the artwork of Geiger, who provided the design for the Alien from the Alien movies, and a lot of the set design from the Alien movie as well. Alien movies. So, H.R. Geiger, I think, is that how it goes? Something like that. Now, one of the first things I should do is probably apologise for the live stream that I was involved in with the House of Moth the other day. It was a kind of a funny one, the way it all formed. Jay from the House of Moth, he got hold of a whole bunch of Mac 2Xs, Mac 2s, and I think a 2FX in a group of, I think, about 7 Macs in total. And he's in the process of going and restoring them. He's going to sell them, sort of share them with the community, which is fantastic. I mean, pay him type share, but get them out into the Mac world, which is fantastic. They've been stuck in his shed for 20 years, so it'd be great to see them back out there again. He was recapping it the other day, asked if I would come on and just, sort of be the voice of guidance in the corner, so I joined his live stream and I sat there as a nice quiet little guest. We got through, got it recapped, started working on the testing side of things. Then a few more people joined, a few more Mac Yackers joined. And then Dan from Canadian Computer Collector joined. And then Steve joined for a little bit and then he left. And when he left, he accidentally ended the stream. So we started a new stream. But by this stage, pretty much most of the work was done. So it was just then a live stream of Dan, I think, and Steve, and maybe Dana as well, I think, playing Minecraft while I continued trying to guide Jay on how to test his Mac 2 that he just recapped. And it basically just sort of devolved into, I don't know what it was in the end. Basically just a few of the Mac Yackers sitting there being idiots for 3.5 hours. So my apologies to anyone who happened to see that one. You will find it on Jay's channel. It is titled, Please Don't Watch This. So, yeah. So, Frederick, hello. Let me just check all of this stuff here, because would Jay be streaming into your stream? Well, it's my understanding that Jay is actually currently watching a movie. So we'll just have to see. We'll see if he maybe joins in a little bit later on once the family's to bed and whatnot. It is daylight savings here in Australia now, which means that we are sort of 1 hour closer to time in the Northern Hemisphere. So whereas this time would normally be 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast, I believe it is now 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. So I'm pretty good with the time on the East Coast because so many of my my peeps are from there. But of course, it's 3 hours. It's 3 hours back, so it would be 5:30 on the West Coast, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't even know I'm here. Look at that. Yes, well, you can join if you would like to, Jay. You can help provide some guidance on recapping these things that I'm working on, because Jay needs to practice, basically. So very important. Oh, look at this. What's going on here? Why, thank you very much, Garth. That is much appreciated. Thank you. Super chat. Hooray. 5:30 on the West Coast. Cool, I was right. Excellent. Pine Tech, hello. Now, I'd also like to have a little shout out to, I don't think he's actually here in the chat today, a little shout out to, what's his name, to Dan from Canadian Computer Collector, who sent me a logic board to have a look at, and also included in it this lovely book. So I'll be getting right into that later on. This is a lovely one. This is Robert B. Parker, Spare Change. New York Times bestseller, I might add. And let's see if there's any information about what it actually might be. Look at this. Bruce, never stop reaching for the ceiling. One day it may need repairs. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I'm hoping there might be a bit of a synopsis around here somewhere. Oh, okay. All right. Boston PI Sonny Randall joins forces with the most important man in her life, her father, to crack a 20-year-old case. Sounds like it's going to be a winner. Now, I have had a slight invasion in my workshop here. It's only a slight invasion, but I just noticed this morning when I sat down, I had a little moth asleep on my microscope. Hello, little fella. How you doing? How's he going to cope when I start looking through this? We'll see. Right, well, I think what I might do is start with the Macintosh Classic analog board that I referred to before. There we go. I'm just going to move that out of the way. So I'm just going to make a little bit of space on the desk here. I moved some things around recently. I got this lovely shipment of CUDA chips the other day from UT Source. These are CUDA chips for the, well, they're actually for the like LC475, 575 series, but I just tested one on a Color Classic yesterday, and it worked on that as well. So very, very, very pleased about that. Good to have spares of these because they fail a lot. I think, I don't know for certain, and I'm not going to test to find out, but I think one of the reasons they fail is because of hot swapping the ADB plug. I think if you don't get that quite right, it can sometimes cook that chip. But it is, as I say, a very common failing point. So let's get this out of the way. Put it on any spare surface I can find. Macintosh SE30 board there. We all like the SE30. Got one up for sale at the moment. Let's see how well that does. Auction finishes tomorrow night. Today I made my first repair. I replaced 2 voltage regulators on a Dell monitor that was defective. It seems that it sold it. Excellent. I started because of you and Steve. That is fantastic to hear. And isn't it rewarding when you get these things fixed? You know, you get this stuff fixed for yourself. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I just went through this recently with my oven and my dishwasher, where I've gone in and repaired these things and kept them going. It's just so good to keep these things going, save the world from more landfill rubbish or trash. Right, now, 20k says I'm making $1,300 a day in revenue. Cannot benefit from my shenanigans. Well, it's not $1,300 a day in revenue. I can assure you of that. If you take the 2 zeros off that, you're getting closer to where we are. So I'm not quite at 20,000 subscribers, but I am very, very close. I'm just a matter of, I would say probably tomorrow, maybe the day after, I'll hit the 20k mark. And obviously thank you to everyone who has subscribed. And that's all these people here in the chat there, because I do have the subscriber only chat feature activated. I killed a 2CX by hot swapping a SCSI cable. Oh, that's it. Well, you probably find you've just blown a fuse. So you probably haven't killed it as such. I mean, you might need to replace the SCSI chip, worst case scenario, but it might just be a fuse on the 2CX. So, you know, just be aware. Spent the equivalent of $2 in parts and $1,000 of equipment. Yes, that's how it works. That's just how it works, doing your own repairs. Right, I'm going to go get this board. I'll be right back. It's stored in my special storage place. I'll be able to keep talking to you while you admire the background. My apologies for all of the bird noises at the moment, but it is springtime. All of that bird noise in the background you may or may not be able to hear is actually rainbow lorikeets are in the tree at the moment. Is this the one? Is this the one? Not sure if this is the one. Yes, this is the one. Found it. Everything's fine. Okay. I'm back from the vault. Okie dokie. Right. Oh, my hands are already starting to get sticky from flux, so I think it's time for gloves. Gloves, please. Ow! I knew that was a bad idea. Putting my tweezers in that container up the wrong way with the pointy bit sticking out. Ouch. Let's get Bruce to 20k subs during the live stream. That's an ambitious one. Yeah, it'd be lovely, but I think that might be a little bit too ambitious. But anyhow. Okay, let us do a bit of that. Once again, thank you very much, Garth, for that super chat. I do appreciate it. Okay, just checking up on the chat here. In the future, are you planning on going on tour? That could be interesting. I am actually possibly doing a few soldering, what do you call them, sort of, there's a word for it, workshops. And for that, you know, I may need to actually take some of this stuff, but I will only have to travel to somewhere else within this city of Sydney. I won't necessarily have to go on tour, as you say. Right, so this here is the board. Let's just flick over to a more relevant view. Look at all this, look at this space. See it? Look at the space, it's amazing. Now, I've got a little component floating around in the baggie here. So, Quick little bit of history here. This is a classic or classic 2 analog board. I don't know which one. It doesn't really matter. They're both primarily the same. It is a 220, 240, 230 volt board. You can tell because it's only got one capacitor here. If this was at a US board, it would have another capacitor there. Right there, right there. Then there's a little jumper somewhere. I can't remember where it is. There's one here, but I think there's another one. If you want to convert them into a, if you want to convert one from one voltage to another. Now, basically what's happened is this: the person who owned this board, he was having problems with it. He decided to recap it, and it still doesn't work. Now, I don't know how much it doesn't work. He then decided to remove this diode from here. And first thing we're going to have to do is put this back on. But we will test this diode first. I mean, I don't want to just poo-poo this person's instincts. They might be correct. Maybe the diode is bad, but I suspect it's probably fine. I've never heard of these ones going in this before. So let's just test a Rooney. The way we do that is we put the old multimeter into diode mode, and then you check one way this way, and it should be open in one direction, and the other direction we should get a reading of something like 0.6 or something like that. But we'll just see. 0.4, there we go, 0.426. So that's basically a diode. The diode's purpose is to let electricity run in one direction and not in the other direction. And that's basically showing that it's not letting electricity go in one direction, but it is allowing it to go in the other. Are you dying to see the video about the ultrasonic? Yeah, I know, so are a lot of people, and I do apologize for that. What I should be doing right this very minute is recording content for that. That's what I should be doing. Now, the reason why I'm not doing that is because I will probably spend all day and still not finish that. Whereas I can do this live stream, get some content up on the page, then YouTube doesn't forget about me. That's always the problem. If you stop posting content, YouTube forgets about you. Another really important thing is if all of the people watching could please
smash that like button,
because that has an impact as well. That can make a difference to sort of the channel, in terms of people smashing the like button, or at least depressing it with a level of fury. So yes, I will definitely be doing that video. I know it is one that the demand has been there, and the only thing that has really stopped me from doing it has been time. I've written all of the script. I've even revised it. I have got quite a lot of footage and still and B-roll and stuff like that. I've just got to go in and start putting all of it together, and I really, really want to get it done. Yeah. How often do you change your cleaning fluid? Every clean, or can you hang on to it for a bit? Change it as often as my underpants. No, that's not true. I change the fluid when it starts to get really murky. Now, I get probably 50 at least cleans out of that. Possibly even more. When I'm cleaning lots of really old logic boards, it tends to get murky quicker because they're pretty dirty. If I was just cleaning flux and stuff off, it wouldn't take that long. But yeah, I get lots and lots of cleans. This is around about the color of the water when I decide I want to change it. It starts off clean and goes to this. Now, one could argue you might want to change it before it gets to that. But what I can tell you is it still cleans incredibly effectively like that. It's not like you put something in that's dirty and it comes out dirtier. And you put something in there that's dirty, it still comes out spotless. So, it has to be rinsed, of course, for obvious reasons, but it really still does a very effective job of cleaning. So that is the reason why. And of course, the ultrasonic cleaning fluid costs money. So, all right, so the first thing we need to do is get this diode on. And the surface is completely and totally gone. So now there are clever people, not like me, I'm talking about proper clever people, who know which way around is the anode and the, cathode. but I'm not that sort of person. So I'll piffle. I'm just going to try and get from one here. No. That's good. Okay, so what I can tell you is that I'm going to just get this. I'm going to get this the right way around. So right, that is the stripe side. Because if we put this around the wrong way, it will be bad. Okay. If you're going to smash the like button, thank you, Drake. Da-da-da. So we'll just test that again. See, I have a bit of a chuckle when it comes to the old, the ultrasonic cleaner when I talk to like Jay from House of Moth. Now he mainly uses, hey, I've got thumbs down as well. Yeah. It is a good day. Two of them. I'm telling you, man, I have got this engagement thing sewn up. So just bear with me a sec. So total protonic reversal. That's exactly what will happen. Right, sorry, I'm just figuring out which way around this should be, and I'm pretty sure it's allowed to go through that way, so I think it's that way around with the stripe on the left. I'm pretty sure. I do get easily confused because I'm old, but that's okay. Yep, that is correct. Okay, so it needs to go there like that. So very soon we'll be at the point where this board will be kind of right at square one. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flux on this because I'm holding this in with one hand. I need to hold my soldering iron with the other hand, which leaves me no hand left for holding any solder. So what I'll do is I'll just get some solder on the end of my iron, and then the flux will help that solder transfer onto the pin there. Just like that. Now it's held in from one side, and I can grab my solder, and I can do it from the other side. And begin. Oh, this is dirty. Dirty. Oh, it smells too. This probably needs a good clean. One of the things that, oh yeah, God, that stinks. One of the things that does happen with these classic analog boards is they get a lot of that residual cap juice floating around on the board, and then and they don't work because they're actually creating little short circuits. So a couple of things that should be known about the caps that you need to use here in this little region here. They should be low ESR ones, so they should be good quality caps that you use in this section here, or you are likely to run into strife. Now that we've got essentially everything in place, what I might do is actually put this into a classic and see what it does, see what behavior it's got. Hammer out for the like button, awesome. Oh, now I've only got one thumbs down. Who went and reversed it? Oh well, never mind. Okay, so if you end up in Turin, Queensland, you'll end up with a rather ridiculous... there we go, we're back again. Rather ridiculous number of classic Macs to take home for repair. Oh, yes indeed, yes indeed. Okay, all right, we're going to test this. That's right, that's what I was just losing the thread here, my apologies. Let's go and get a classic to test it in. Back in a moment. Again, not going far, and I'll still be able to talk to you, so just over here. Grab the classic. It's a classic. I should mention that this classic needs some repair, but it needs repair on the analog board, so given the fact that we're actually testing the analog board here, it doesn't matter. Oh, mud. Won't like disliking it. Yes. Oh. Just always feel a sense of achievement when someone dislikes, because you know it's that you've got up on someone's nerves so much they've actually decided to go to a stream that they don't like and press the dislike button, and that is well motivated. Removing a classic analog board involves you have to unscrew this little guy here, which is a T15 torque screw, and that's because this wire is connected to this board, and this board is connected to the analog board with no plugs. So he has to come off when he comes off. So we get that there. Yeah, this board's in terrible shape. This needs work. We've got a screw here at the back we need to undo. Should be 2 screws here, but on mine there's only 1 because it's special. So how's everyone been doing? Anything interesting going on? Oh, there's another screw down there. There should actually be 3 screws. Or maybe it is only 2. I might be forgetting the answers. Okay, that's off. That's off. I am also working on a video. Some people may or may not be interested in this. I'm working on a video. Oh, I forgot to take the anode cap off. I'm working on a video where I swap over a CRT from a Mac Plus to a Mac Classic. It's a question that gets asked in the forums all the time. And so I thought, well, I probably should do a demo video of actually swapping out a CRT from one to the other, and in particular one that doesn't have a compatible yoke. So essentially removing this yoke. Now, keeping in mind that this computer has been switched off for days. So there's no electricity or build-up or anything like that anywhere, so there's really no issue at all with me going around and touching things. But do, of course, be super careful of this little glass guy here. It is holding the vacuum in place. If you ever happen to see someone selling a CRT on eBay or something like that, and you see a little dark patch right in the middle, that's an indication that the vacuum is gone and that CRT is gone. Doesn't work, can't be repaired, has to be replaced. It's just something worth keeping in mind when you are buying things. If you are going to buy something on eBay like that, and you might be like, oh, that's cool, I've got a spare CRT. That's fine. You just need to make sure that you pay accordingly for something like that, because, you know, I mean, if that CRT is gone, it's a pretty major thing. Steve from Mac84 recently got a Macintosh TV that was in a terrible state. It was part of an exchange that he did with someone, and it had been damaged in transit, cracks and things, awful. But it had that telltale dark patch in the middle of the front of the screen, which showed that the vacuum had been compromised. Broken nipple. All the CRT rebuild shops are gone. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is theoretically possible that you might be able to reseal something like that. I mean, if it broke further along, I don't see any way that you'd be able to do it. But yes, you'd have to put this into a vacuum chamber and then seal it. I don't know about the dark patch on the front though. I mean, can they make that? Can they fix that up? Who knows? Broken vacuum, doesn't that suck? Boom, boom. Thank you, Michael. He's the winner. He's the pun man. Right. Okie dokie. Oh, well, it should just grab this here for a briar flare. Yeah. Oh, yeah, good things. Right, okay. So, probably should have inspected this board first, shouldn't I, before testing it? Oh, never mind. Okay, so let's put this on here. These are a bit fiddly, unfortunately. Got this wire goes here, and this wire goes here. That's for the fan. Probably shouldn't even really worry about the fan for the amount of time I'm going to run this, but never mind. Oh, incidentally, if this does turn out to start getting a little bit too boring, I will just stop and do something else. Put a new neck on. Wow, that's awesome. It'd be good if they did that, but yeah, I'm sure no one does that anymore. You know, I haven't even bothered to check the recapping work of the person who did recap this. I mean, am I really setting myself up for from bad stuff here? I mean, it'd be different if I recapped them. I mean, he could have put a cap on backwards for all I know. Oh well, if it blows up and pops and things like that, it'll make for good viewing, eh? Not bother putting that one in. Is anyone going to make any egg jokes relating to a yoke? I am speaking to you, Michael. And when we're talking about yolks of a monitor, we definitely need some sort of pun about chickens or eggs or something like that. No yoke jokes. Right. All right, now I do need to stick a logic board in this. I hope I haven't got all my classic boards up in the house. I built a classic recently. For those who didn't watch that in my live stream, I done built one. This one appears to be complete. So let's test with this. I'm going to build another one too. I should be building it now, but I do need to try and get some of this recapping work done. This is a Classic 1. One very easy way to tell the Classic 1 from the Classic 2 is the fact that the Classic 1 has no RAM slots at all. Classic 2 has RAM slots around this region here. But yeah, no RAM slots on the Classic 1. It does have 1 megabyte of onboard RAM there, and of course you've got this slot that allows you to stick up to an extra 3 in. So, yeah. And that board looks something like this. That's one extra there, and then 2 slots here for an extra 1 each. So you can take this up to a throbbing 4 megabytes of RAM. Which, let's face it, why would anyone need more than 4 megabytes of RAM? I mean, what would you possibly do with more than 4 megabytes of RAM? Answer me that. I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing it like it's an SE. It's not an SE at all. What about the CR2032? I am not going to put that in there. I mean, I did modify this board so it would take a CR2032 instead of a the half AA. I used to do that to all the boards that I have. I don't do it anymore only because I just don't particularly like the look of it. Yeah, this one doesn't need a battery to run, so it's all right. Some do. Some boards get a little bit upset if you try and run them without a battery, but this is not one of them. I'll tell you what does get upset, me trying to get this cable in. Dagnabbit, Consonant, Criminy, Gadzooks. There we go. Okay, now we're plugged in. Now, I'm not even going to bother to plug in a SCSI cable because I really don't think it's going to do anything. But let's see what happens when we plug this in. We're going to take any precautionary measures like stand at a bit of a distance. And we are dealing with high voltage. Okay, you ready? Standing back here. Nothing. Completely dead. Not even a flicker, chirp, nothing. Nut. Right. That I didn't expect. I thought we'd at least get something, but nothing. I'll just check and see if we're getting any voltage in the board here at all. I do that by getting my trusty little multimeter and sticking one pin on the negative and then putting this in the, what is it, the fourth, I think it's the 6th hole. No. We ain't getting nothing. Not a thing. Zip. Nothing. No tick tick, nothing. Absolutely nothing. That moth is still asleep on my microscope. Shouldn't need to do this, but do it as a precaution anyway. Just stick the whole thingy under the anode cap before taking it off. By anode cap. It's my little discharge tool. I did drop something on the floor before. Here we are. I dropped the speaker. Hello, Mr. Speaker. Right. Let's continue. This really could end up being superlatively boring. So, as I say, I'm going to give this a few more minutes. If nothing interesting happens, then I'll move on to something else. Do. Come on, thank you. Thank you for doing your duty today, little Mr. Classic Board. Come on. Oh, that's right, this has got to come off. And he's out. Out, damn spot. Come on. Play along. The Macintosh Classic Analog Board is actually a really nice little piece of kind of cheap engineering in terms of the way it's made, in particular the way, well, there aren't very many connectors on it. Most things are just soldered straight on here. I mean, with the old boards there were lots of connectors. This one has only one connector. That's two connectors. It's the hard drive, power supply, and the yoke connector. All the rest are actually just wires soldered straight into the board. Save money in production, fewer parts. And of course this yoke board is actually part of that. So it gets manufactured as a single piece like that. And then then they can put all the components on, blah, 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 blah. And then just as they go to fit into the computer, just snap the yoke board off. And we've got two pieces there. Really, really quite clever, I think, anyway. Now, let's always start with the most obvious thing because, you know, it's a good idea to. It's always my recommendation anyway. And that is check the fuse. Thank you, Thomas, for mentioning that. And we go, fuse is good. I don't know if you can hear the beep, but it is a beepity beep beep. My first thought with something like this, well, here's really the thing. So, this kind of comes down to a video that I'm actually working on at the moment. I'm working on another video, yes, which will be coming out fairly soon. And that is, I've recapped something and it's still not working. Why? And with these, we really need to go through a series of steps to start off with. Some of them may seem fairly basic and rudimentary, but we do need to go through these steps. And the first step we need to go through is we need to do the old check your work. And it doesn't matter who you are or how good you are or who you think you are, you need to check your work. You have to check everything that you've done and you need to make sure that everything is around the right way, in the right position, the right sort of caps used, all that sort of stuff. So that's always the first place to to check. I am not immune from that. Is the very first thing I do if a recap doesn't work, is I go through and check my own work, because we are humans, we are fallible. Simple as that. Now I'm going to grab my little recapping guide here, which is going to tell me what all of these caps should be. They may not necessarily be the same as you, because you might be in a US part of the world, and there are some slight variations on the US board, in particular in these caps here. There are a couple that are slightly different to the ones on the Australian board. Okay, so let's start off here. We want, in this particular location, we want a 470/25 here and here. I think there's a third. Is there a third one? Yeah, there's a 470/25 here as well, with a little piece of tape on it. Don't ask me why. 470/25. 470/25. 470/25, so that's good. They both want the positives up. They do, and that one's positive up as well. Good. That's that one. So I'm going to have to just keep the chat here while I'm doing this, because it's a little bit difficult. A little bit difficult. I'm doing. I really do need two screens here, but I don't have them. Muon, hello. Thank you for joining. Any recent updates from Kai about his board? Now, I have been very slack, unfortunately. After building the first one and investing all those hours in it, I was kind of like, yay, hooray. And then, of course, I got a second revision of board with all the errors fixed. And I'm like, yay, when it came to putting it together. And I just need to dedicate a few hours to it. I just haven't had a lot of, spare time in a contiguous span. So I need to spend a little bit of time going in and doing that. So we are so ridiculously close, and I am very frustrated that I am the person that is holding it up at the moment, but I will rectify that as soon as I can. In theory, the board as it is now should all be fixed and good, but we do just need to test and be sure. Right. What should I be looking at here? I should be looking at a 2210 volts, both with the positive down. What? 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 2216, that's fine. What's this one? I hate it when you can't see what's written on them. 2210. Okay, well that's interesting. So we put a... What? $1,025. What? Right. Now I'm trays confused. So I just have to find out whether this is a slightly different variation of board that might have slightly different capacitors on it, or whether this person has put the wrong caps on. So here we go. Just sort of checking. What kind sold a good water damage repair? I mean, clean up green water damage. Are you asking what method you would use to clean up water damage? If there is corrosion in place, what I do is I use an ultrasonic cleaner. But if you don't have one of those, some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. So if that is what you're asking, Jay, the House of Moth, you can see there. He is, ultrasonic cleaner would go a long way. It's one of the best things to use, but appreciate that not everyone has an ultrasonic cleaner, but they're a good thing for cleaning up. Okay, so what I'm going to just very quickly do here, I'm going to do a quick little bit of research, so I'm going to grab my little keyboard here. This is my research keyboard. It's not like my normal keyboard, it's my research keyboard. Okie dokie. Oh, pardon me. No, that's not what I want. Oh, yeah, but you don't close the whole window, dumbass. Right, just researching. No. Yes. Right. Gosh, it's a little bit difficult to read that. Okay, so it's saying okay 10, okay 16. Now here's what concerns me. I've got a sneaking suspicion that this person has used a recapping guide from a US board. And the caps are slightly different. Oh, that's so hard to read. Okay, 16, so there's 16, 2.2, 16. What is it? No. 1K16. Yes. What? Hang on. 1K10. 1K10. 1K16. And 2.210. 2.210. 2.2. No, okay. See, even this is weird. 2.316. 2.216. Yeah. And some of these are good. These are good quality caps. I can tell that. 470, 50. I don't know. Look, we're gonna replace some of these because some of these caps just look totally in the wrong place. So we're going to do that, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we do, and everything's good. We'll probably reuse some of these caps because they do look like good quality. I don't see any reason to just throw away otherwise good quality caps. After the recap, so you can make repairs on weak spots. Is there any reason why you would need clean it beforehand? Example, really dirty. Justin, yes. Let me put that actual. We'll put this up onto the old, up onto here. It's a very pertinent question, and it is. The answer is yes. I do often end up getting boards that are in such a state when they arrive that they actually become very difficult to work on because they're so dirty. I also see ones that might have some damage, and when you put a board with some trace rot into an ultrasonic cleaner, it'll often clear away some of the old dead copper, and some of that old dead copper might still be creating continuity. So you can be in a situation where you go and you repair all these traces, you go test the board, and then you put it in the cleaner afterwards, and then it stops working because it cleared away some of that old dead copper. And sometimes I see boards with that sort of damage, and I decide that I want to give them an ultrasonic clean beforehand, and then give them go through and do all the trace repair in case the cleaning reveals some more damage. So I'll do that. But yeah, there are other times where the board's just so dirty, it's got to be done. CP8 is 2216 instead of 35. Yep, okay, cool. And all the others in that bunch are the same as your guide shows. Yeah, okay, so what that essentially tells me is we do have a bit of a switcheroo going on here. Specifically, he has got a... yeah. That's 22, that's 22, that's 22. That's 1,000, so CP, that's right. Let me just check this again, because my brain is clearly not in the best form today. 2200. Yeah, okay, so the one that specifically that I'm concerned about is the one in position CP8. C for Charlie, P for Peter, 8 for 8. And CP8 has a 1000 microfarad 25 volt in it, whereas the guide says it should be a 2200 microfarad 16 volt. So I think what I'm going to do is just whip them all out, this whole lot here, all out, zip them off, and then we will put them back in the right position and with the right caps and replace ones that aren't right and stuff like that. So, and things, things. What are we recapping? An analog board. This is a Mac Classic analog board. It was recapped by a customer. Still not working. Sent it to me to see if I could figure it out. And I think I have figured it out. I think he put some of the wrong caps in here. So we're going to do that. Tom Barber, hello. The thumbnail worked. Caught my eye and now I'm here. There you go. Tom, this is the same Tom Barber that does the sells the blue scuzzies, isn't it? That's the same Tom Barber, is it not? I'm pretty sure. Oh, hello, Adam McGee. Thank you for joining. Don't think I said hello to you, Robert Oliver, either. Thank you very much for the information. It was much appreciated. I sent you a sale the other day, Tom. I do believe that Jay from the House of Moth, he bought a Blue Scuzzy kick from you the other day, and he will be expecting high speed delivery, I can tell you that. Jay has ridiculously high standards. Just bought 2 more Blue Scuzzies. Yep, they're good things, aren't they? Good things, yeah. All right, let's get these caps off, shall we? Now I'm going to do that with my vacuum suckery doodly thing. This is a what do they call it? Desoldering tool, desoldering suction tool. Call it whatever you want. And it basically has a little canister in here where it sucks the solder in. These get clogged all the time, so when you buy them, they come with these little things that you can do that to help clean out any excess solder. Let's see if this one's reasonably empty inside. So I'm just going to take out my little cartridge here. Ooh, this is far from empty inside. That is a great big lump of solder. Look at that. Gosh. Oh, come on, solder. One thing I don't like about this solder gun that I bought is it has this little fluffy filtery thing here to stop the solder from going too far down the system. But it only came with like 1 spare of these, and I mean these go in no time. So, but I think I can probably make some up just using some fluff. Just pop that in there. There we go. Shall we turn this into a nugget? I'm gonna into the old. Now, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? There's a good answer for that. This is all the little solder that's been sucked out, and I'm going to hit it with my hot air station, and we're going to turn it into a little blob. Just cause. Oops, that's the smell of melting things we shouldn't. There we go. I know what you're thinking. Why, Bruce? Why? Because that's why. It does need flux, doesn't it? It will flow much better if it was fluxed. Still, it's still liquid at the moment. Hot. It's a nice little blob. Hey, blob. Let's put some isopropyl alcohol in it. That'll make it go solid. And it'll melt my toothbrush as well. Okay. Well, there we go. There's 30 seconds of your life you'll never get back. Okay. Let's get into some solder sucking. Nice one, Joe. T1000 joke. I like it. All right. Let's whip these little chappies off. I know which ones I need to take off. Fairly obvious. And I can really smell that leaked electrolyte smell here when I heat this up. So I might want to give this a little bit of a clean underneath there. Fairly blobby soldering. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's definitely not the best. No criticism to the person who did it. At the end of the day, this is someone, you know, having a crack themselves, which I always encourage. But maybe a little bit more flux next time. Get you some slightly nicer looking solder blobs. Come on. Bent the pins out a little bit, it's making them hard to get out. Get out. Thank you. And should we take the big one out as well? Yeah, let's take the big one out as well. We'll just put them all in again. Yay! Oh wow! Why have I opened up iTunes? Must have bumped something. Oh, it's the keyboard. I bumped the keyboard. Must have pressed play. I probably pressed play. Press play. So here are all the caps I've just whipped off. We know that some of these are okay. One of the things I can tell with these, just looking at them, some of them have this gold stripe here, which suggests that these are probably Panasonic caps and they make quite good caps. So, yeah. When I refer to a thing called ESR, which stands for resistance, Joe will know. See, this is why it's important to have Joe in your chat, because he remembers all these sorts of terms. He knows what the ES stands for. But what I have here is a thing called an ESR meter, and it will measure ESR on a capacitor. And this, when they refer to caps being low ESR, it means that resistance is, the resistance of that cap is low, a lower number. So let's take, for example, here, I've got a, not that one. Let's take, for example, here, I've got a, not that one. Yeah, this one should work. Yeah, okay. So this is 1000 microfarad 25 volt. Now I've got my little chart here that says an acceptable ESR reading for a 1000 microfarad 25 volt is 0.08. That's your reading there, 0.08 ohms. Now I'm going to measure this one. I'll put my little clip on the negative, clip on the positive, and then we'll see what it comes up with. It's 0.05, 0.06, around about 0.06. So what it's saying here is 0.08 is acceptable with 0.06 ohms, which is lower. So we're good. If that was higher, I would be concerned. I wouldn't be putting that in. Equivalent series resistance. Thank you, Sad Mate. And also thank you to Joe as well. Oh, and Dana said it too. See, everyone remembers but me. I will remember it one day. What are you going to do? Huh? You are 1 hour late and you will be punished for it. Googie clone. Punished. Mr. Crimstar, hello. Is there any device that emulates a SCSI CD-ROM for 68K max? Well, I'm pretty sure that the SCSI to SD can emulate a CD-ROM, and I'm pretty sure the is it Max SCSI? Is that what it's called, Max SCSI? That can emulate a CD-ROM. Oh, Apple's Anonymous said it too. Sorry. Yeah. So yes, there are definitely devices that can do that. I'm not sure about the blue SCSI. Can you get the blue SCSI to be a CD-ROM? I can't recall. It's possible. I'm not sure. Now I'm just going to grab. We're just going to do it for a little bit of fun. This is a 1000 microfarad 25. Let's go over to my container of 25 volt capacitors. Ow! Sorry, knees sore. They're not there, they're not there, they're not there. They must be down here. 25, right here. Now, 1025. Now these are very special caps. Very special. These ones are gold. Not just silver, but gold. Let's see what ESR we get on this one. This one, oh, we got the same as the other one. So, yeah, 0.065, it's below 0.08, which is acceptable. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with these caps. So caps are fine. We're going to put them in, but yeah, that's one of the ways you can tell if they're bad. One of the things that is also important is you can measure the ESR in circuit, so you don't even need to take the cap out. So, oh, look, we've got some gunge here. Going to clean that up first. Look, a bit of snot. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Zoom, zoom, other way. There we go. Zoomed in a bit. So just let it focus, 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 focus. Focus, people, focus. I'm going to get some alcohol down here. I'm just going to try and clean this. We've just got all this gunge here. I want that gone. Be gone. I mean, I might end up putting this whole board in the ultrasonic cleaner. I do that sometimes, put the whole board in. Needless to say, the speaker has to come off when you do that. Speakers do not like being submerged in liquid. I say that like it's something that people don't know, which of course is just nonsense, because that's obvious. You don't put speakers in liquid. Excuse me. I'm really starting to get quite warm, so I'm just going to crank up this AC a little bit. Bear with me a minute. Mode. Oh, no. That mode. Oh, yeah, that's better. There we go. Drop the temp. Oh, colder. Come on, let me get colder. None of the buttons are doing anything. What have I done? Switch it off and on again. That's what we do. That's the IT solution. What? Oh, okay. Right. We good? Everyone happy? All right, now I'm going to be a little bit cooler. Oh. I don't need a... It's really hard to get in here. Some meters do capacitance testing. That's something I really should mention, is that You can, of course, test a capacitor using the capacitance on a multimeter. So, for instance, I have my little fluke here, and it has the option here to go into the capacitance mode, go into there, and then it'll go and show me a microfarad, nanofarad, whatever reading. So we can do it with this one here. I'll put the positive on there, I'll put the negative on there, and it will go thinky, thinky, think. There we go, 1068. It's a 1000 microfarad, that's well within the range of tolerance for that one. But here's the really important thing, that will not work if the capacitor is in circuit. If the capacitor is on the board, you will not get an accurate reading. You have to take the capacitor off to use the capacitance measurement on your multimeter. The ESR meter can tell you if there is a low ESR for a capacitor that is still on the board. So there's a definite convenience aspect with using an ESR meter, and admittedly this one is rubbish. It's rubbish ESR meter, and I want to get a better one. But it was very cheap, so, you know, get what you pay for. As is the case with this sort of hobby, business, whatever you want to call it, you know, whether it starts as a hobby and becomes a business, or there are just always costs involved. You know, when people sort of say to me, hey, I want to get started on soldering, you know, what do I need? And I was like, well, you know, you start and then you just see how you get into it, and then add stuff to it if you want to. What is going on there? Yeah, that's okay. Just really weird the way this cap has been mounted. Yeah, it's all right though. Got a little bit of solder on the end of my tweezers there. What ESR meter is this? It is this one here. MESR 100. You will find these on eBay. If you do a search for ESR meter, like the first 10 results will be one of these. And they're only like 25 bucks or something like that. And they just, I think they charge up with USB, I think. Or do they just, I don't know, they've got batteries in them there. They've got a USB port here for something. There's just a little, I don't know, it's probably like a little, what do you call it, like a Arduino type thing in there, something like that, that's just programmed with some firmware, and you know, very basic. This one's had the buttons eaten away by a mouse. How many people can say that about their ESR meter? Right, so I've cleaned away a lot of the gunk around those. We're going to put some new caps on now, and we're going to put the right ones on, because that's how we do things here at Bench Arse. Okay, I will have to keep that in mind, Dana. Action Retro, hello, thank you for joining. Jeez, I wanted to ask you something, Sean, but I can't remember what it was. Fluff. Never mind. It might come to me. So don't go anywhere in case I think of it. Pressure. Right, so anyhow, I haven't got my little text thing up here, so let me just do that now. We're going to say, ooh, that's not how it works. Fixing a recapped Mac Classic analog board. Why did I do a capital A for analog? It's not a proper noun. Idiot. Right. There we go. So this is just so that anyone that does join partway through knows what I'm doing here. This was a Macintosh Classic analog board that was sent to me by a customer and found that it didn't work. And of course, I was going to go through a whole series of different diagnostic procedures and stuff like that. But what we did find quite quickly, even just on step 1 of my guide of what to do when something doesn't work after recapping, which is check your work, that this person had actually put some wrong capacitors on there. So we've whipped them all off, we're giving it a bit of a clean, and then we're going to put them back on. We're going to put back on the right ones in the right places and all that sort of stuff. So we've got a couple of 47025s. I think, is that the two of them? No, here's the other one. So these ones, I'm just going to check what the ESR is of these to make sure that he has got reasonably good caps in place, because I know that these ones are Another thing about this ESR meter, for some reason it manages to look completely invisible on my desk. I'm not sure why that is the case, but I lose it all the time, even when it's right in front of me. Oh, wow, it's been eaten through by a mouse as well. I will get another one. I was watching one of James Wages, JDW. I was watching one of his live streams, one of his pre-recorded videos the other day. He has got the sexiest ESR meter. I bet you it costs way more money than I want to spend though. Okay, 0.086, 25,470, 0.12. It needs to be under 0.12. Well, that's 0.086. It's definitely under 0.12. So we're feeling good about that. That's even lower. 0.020. These the same brand? They're not. Oh, hang on. That's a completely different capacitor. That is not a 470 at all. What? What? Where's the other 470? I'm so confused. Have I lost a cap? That is always possible. I'm going to just count them to make sure that everything is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am missing one. Has it fallen to the floor? Fallen to its death? Oh, here it is. Found it. Okay, so we're just going to test again this one, the ESR of this one. .020. Yep, okay. We're both good with those. They are well under. They are well under. These are low ESR, so no problems here at all. Everyone happy. I am feeling very, very scattered and confused at the moment. It's probably just senility. Just be glad that I keep good records. I'm getting old, see, Sonny. Right, I need to just check up on the chat. I have, I see a JDW live streams. Yeah, it was not a live stream, it was a pre-recorded one. Yeah, so I think he was recapping the Mac SE or SE30 analog board. One of the reasons why I haven't done a recapping video on that, because he has done one. And I'll tell you what, his one is going to be way more thorough than mine would have been. Mine probably would have been about a third the length of his. But if you want to fully explore the recapping of the old SE or SE30 analog board, so yeah. So anyhow, he was testing the caps with his ESR meter and that, and it was just the best looking ESR meter. I got major jealous. I got even more jealous than when I was watching The House of Moth and he has an open sign behind him. I'm so jealous of that. Right, so put these two caps in. Come on, man. There we go. Branson EC as cleaning solution with distilled water. Yep, okay. Okay, so does polarity matter when checking ESR? No, I don't think it does. I know that there's a plus and a minus on the leads, but I could be completely wrong with this, but I'm pretty sure it's not important. But I'll test one later if you want. Photoshop's an open sign for Bruce. Well, I might have something else coming on the way from eBay. We'll see. So Ezekiel Blah Can I just tell you something very quickly? If you go onto my YouTube channel and you go to featured videos, you might have to go back a bit of a way, but within featured videos there's a video called Recapping Guide. Now, I'm not asking you to sit and watch through the whole thing, but as you get towards the end of it, I do actually demonstrate the process of me ultrasonically cleaning with my electronics with my ultrasonic cleaner, or with one of them, with this one over here. So if you're wanting to just see it happen, see what goes on and see the way that I do it, at the end of my recapping guide video in the featured videos, you will find a bit where I actually go in and do ultrasonically clean. I even featured it in another one somewhere too, but I can't remember off the top of my head what video that was. And that might just tide you over until I get my proper recapping guide done. I'm going to do a more extensive one, go and explain a lot of the theory behind it, what an ultrasonic cleaner is, how it works. There is this misconception out there that what the ultrasonic cleaner does is it uses vibration to clean, and it does not use vibration to clean. It uses a process called cavitation. It's a rather magical thing that happens when you put ultrasonic sound through water. It's really kind of cool that it happens, but it is utilizing that kind of physical reaction to clean things. And you can use it to clean anything. I mean, you could use an ultrasonic cleaner to clean clothes. The biggest problem is that you'll get all of the dirt out of your clothes, but it'll still be in the water. So you'd still need to put it through like a rinse cycle, even if you were to clean it. So you could drop your clothes in an ultrasonic cleaner, run them for a while. It's going to dislodge all the dirt. Then you've got to take that out and then put it in a rinse cycle in your washing machine. You could do that. Just whoopsie. Just having a quick look here because I do see Mr. J posting something into the chat, and I want to make sure it's not something that I need to see. Oh, he said it to me directly, so it probably is something. Loving it. He just sent me something rather funny. So yeah, let's see if I can make it appear on my on this. Don't ask me how. I mean, this I'm really. Whoa. That's not how it works. If I can get it up onto the live stream, it would be awesome. But I cannot guarantee that I will be able to do that. Oh, for goodness sake. Is that it? Not working. I don't know. Never mind. Worry about it later. Okay, sorry folks, I am getting distracted. So, we are in the process of hopefully fixing this poor little Mac Classic analog board, which was inadvertently given some wrong caps. So we're just working our way through now. We now need a 100 microfarad 1000 microfarad 10 volt. So let's see what we've got here. Nope. There's one. There's a 1025. And another 1025. Okay, cool. There we go. So we've got here Yep. Okay, now this would say 1025. This should be under 0.08. So it's not really. That's not under 1025. Oh, 1016. God, my brain is. It's saying it should be under 0.09. Now it's really not. Let's try one of mine, shall we? We'll just see if there's a big difference. If there's not much of a difference, I'll just go with the one that I've got there. But I just, 10 volt. Oh God, where do you reckon the 10 volt one is? It's underneath 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 containers and a logic board. Three logic boards. Precariously placed. There we go. 10 volts. 1,000. 1,000? 1,000? Sorry, I've been not seeing the chat because I've been staring at recapping guides. Okay, what do we got here? Yes, Dana, just responding to your comment there about watching big ultrasonic cleaners do things like engine heads is incredible. This is the thing. I mean, the beauty of an ultrasonic cleaner is there's virtually no limit to how big you can make one and what you can put in it. As long as you have enough ultrasonic sound and as long as you have a big enough bath of water, you can use ultrasonics to clean just about anything. I mean, they use them for dropping entire engines in, old engines to clean them up. Can you ultrasonic clean yourself? Theoretically, yes. It might tingle a bit though. It creates. I wonder what it would do to the water inside your body. I mean, I've never heard of anyone like dying from falling into one, but who knows? I have a beautiful classic sitting next to me waiting to be recapped motherboard analog. Are you going to do it yourself, Jeremy Bolanos? Or are you going to send it to someone else to do? Dumb question, what is the purpose for the ESR meter? It is measuring resistance. I've had 4 or 5 people come into this chat and say what ESR stands for, and I've already forgotten. Extra substance resistance, electronics. It sends like a frequency thing through it, and then measures what happens to it at the other side, and then can provide you with a resistance at the end. And capacitors that are old or broken or cheap for that matter, their ESR goes up, it gets higher. So, right, I'm just going to test this one quickly here. I'm sorry about all this stuff with the ESR, but I really do need to check these caps before putting them in because I want to make sure. So this is 0.020 for a 1010. 0.016. See, that's much more like it. This one, .09. See, this is right at the top limit of what I would consider acceptable. So, what's going to happen with this one? Into the bin. And then we use my nice one. Hey, Kate, how you doing? Thank you very much for joining. Okay. If there's no water, there's no cavitation. So when you find yourself inside an ultrasonic cleaner, just keep your head above water. Okay, fair enough. Equivalent series resistance. How are we going to find a way to get that stuck in my head? Equivalent series resistance. Equivalent series resistance. Equivalent series resistance. Maybe. I wonder if there's any way that will ever stay in my head. Because so far, evidence would suggest otherwise. Okay, 1000 microfarad 10 volt. He goes in. Let's get him soldered in place. This is going to be the slowest. This is even slower than when I do a normal recap. My soldering iron's gone to sleep. I took so long. this particular soldering iron, when you put it in its holder, it's got a little switch. So when it detects that that there is something in the holder, if it's been in there for over a certain period of time, it just puts the soldering iron into a sleep mode, which is very good actually, because sometimes I forget to turn it off. GT is here. Hello and welcome. Chris Gray, I don't think I said hello to you either. Hello. ESR has to be lower than stated on the sticker. That's correct. This is what the sticker is essentially telling you is what you should be. Well, I don't know if it's what. No, here it is. Standard worst case electrolytic capacitor ESR table. So worst case. So the idea is if you're getting a number higher than you see on this little chart, it's bad. I'd actually love to just have something there where I could punch it in rather than looking at a stupid chart, but I haven't found anything. So, yeah, some little lookup on the computer. If I'd build one, if I knew what the equation was for getting this figure, which I don't, could maybe try and reverse engineer it. But that's a good idea. Every 10 minutes, someone just says equivalent series resistance in the chat. Oh, I love it. Look at what Jay's done for me. Equivalent series resistance. No, don't. He's messed me up. He's messed me up. Righty. Okay, so next, let's move on. We are going to move on to, we've got two 2200 10 volt. Now, I could just use all 16s, but I think we've already got, there's a 2200 16, 2200 10, 1000, 470, 1000. Wow, God, we've got some weird stuff going on here. Let's not worry about that, though. Let's not worry about it. So I don't have enough 2200s. I've got a 2200 10, a 2200 16. Yeah. Now I'm supposed to have two 2200 10s and a 2200 16. And I could just use all 16s, but, you know, 2210 is 2210. Let's check the ESR of this one. Now I don't have 2200 on here, but I should be able to get a rough idea of where I should be going. On my chart, that is. I don't have it on the chart. Yeah. Okay. So we're getting 0.078, and that's fine. Yeah. What? That's not right. That's not right. I think there's a mistake on this chart. I think there is a mistake on this chart. I think there is, but there, who knows? 0.073. Let's just compare it to my one. 2210. 2210. 2210. Here we are. All my 2210s are good-looking ones. I think I'll probably end up using mine for this. I mean, this person is paying for my services, so I am going to give new caps where needed. Oh wow, look at the low ASR on that, 0.008. I don't know if you can see that. But if you can see that, how nice is it? Here we go. That is low ASR. Right, so we're going to use my good looking ones here. Equivalent series resistance. Steve, he's back. You were here at the beginning. He went away, he's back again. Equivalent series resistance. Do you know, there are some ridiculous things I do remember. Okay, I have to pack a Mac Pro and maybe get out my Mac 2X to test. Yes, you do, Apple's Anonymous. That is exactly what you need to do. So, 2210. Do-do-do. 2210. Okay, we're making some headway. What's wrong with this one? Yeah, so this is a recapping one. This is one of my recaps. Customer sent this to me. Nice guy, and definitely very passionate about this stuff. He sent this to me and said, "Look, I've recapped it, but it's still not working." And he'd had a fiddle around with a few things. He'd pulled a diode off the board for some unknown reason, which I have since put back on. But anyhow, what we discovered after looking at it, because I was basically just going through the steps of what one does when you recap and it still doesn't work, because, you know, this happens sometimes. And of course, one of the first things I say you need to do is check your work. So I thought, well, we're going to check this guy's work. And sure enough, he had some wrong caps in the wrong place. So we didn't even get to stage 2 of what to do. We got stopped at stage 1. And what I'm doing is I'm using his caps where possible, because he did put new caps on. But I've found some that I don't think are of a decent standard, and a good enough standard to go on the board. So I have replaced those with main. I can tell that this person has bought some of these caps from J-Car Electronics here in Australia, because they carry this particular brand. And it's where a lot of people would go for a lot of these sorts of electrolytic caps. Okay. I set up a keyboard shortcut now, so whenever I type those 3 letters, equivalent series resistance. Oh, well done. I need to do the same, don't I? Equivalent series is today the day that I will actually memorize equivalent series resistance. I mean, I know lots and lots of letters. I know TIFF, graphics, tagged image file format, JPEG, Joint Photographic Experts Group, MPEG, Motion Picture Experts Group. Yeah, I mean, I know heaps. Basic, beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. But yeah, the old ESR just doesn't stick in there very well. Maybe I've just reached a critical mass of information in my brain and no more can go in. It's always possible. Okay, 1025, 1025, 2216. Okay, so 1025, we actually want 1016 in here, but we'll measure this. If the ESR is low enough, we'll use it. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. So 1016 should be getting us about 0.09. That's 0.045. That's half of what it considers the worst case scenario. I still think that's a good enough cap for us to use. So that's a 1025 going in place of the 1016. Good cap. You're a good cap, aren't you? Okay. Plus up that way, minus down that way. I'm going to fix up these caps and I'll plug it in, and then this little board will say, "Oh, thank the maker." There we go. One more down. Equivalent series resistance. Equivalent series resistance. Equivalent series resistance. Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate it. Equivalent series resistance. Has anyone here ever seen the movie The Aviator with, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio playing the part of Howard Hughes. Whoops. where he's at the end of the film, he's just saying, the way of the future, way of the future, way of the future, way of the future. It's the way of the future. It's the way of the future. Equivalent series resistance. Equivalent series resistance. Equivalent series resistance. I'm really worried if I do put this bit of information and lock it in and get it there staying, that something else will fall out. Something else important, you know, like I might forget how to cook something or something like that. This ultrasonic bath is going to feel so good. I knew Steve would get that reference. I'm sure everyone else did, but I knew Steve would. There's absolutely no way that I can say a Star Wars line. Even if I, you know, mess it up a little bit, Steve's still going to get it. Right. Next one is a 2216. We do have a 2216 here. It is not what I would consider to be the bestest of quality, but I could be wrong. Let's just check. 2216, we would be aiming for, I don't have 2200 on this chart, but we would be aiming for, I would think for 2216, we would be aiming for somewhere in the vicinity of under 0.1 something. Oh, wow, that's low. Yeah, that's good. That's a low number. We're using it. We're using it. You have passed the test, my friend. Always. Why do I keep losing those things? Oh, no. Because I put them right in front of me and then I don't see them. That's why I keep losing them. What does it say on the logic board? Apple Computer Share. Singapore. Apple Computer Spore, Singapore. Get in there, you little thing, you. There we go. How? Sorry. I always get a bit freaked out when things go pop when I'm working on electronic stuff. And you go, huh! And then you realise, oh no, it's just my rubber gloves. It's a pigeon. A pigeon right there. Piss off. Yes, the leads are super short because it's been used. I've actually taken it off. Because this was already recapped by the customer. He's, you know, put his own caps in there and then trimmed the leads, and I've taken them off, and I'm now assessing whether any of them are, you know, sort of still able to be reused. And that one passed the test. What else we got here? We got this thing here. This is just a sec. Just a sec. Oh no. There we go. Okay. And the last one, and certainly not the least, is 470 50 volts, and that is what we have right here. Now, do I have that here? I've got 35 and 63. I don't have 50. Phew. But I'll hopefully be able to at least get a rough idea. And we go measuring. And what was it again? 470? 470 50? 470 If it was 63, it'd be 0.09. 35.09, so I really should be getting worse than 0.09. Better than 0.09. It's way better than 0.09. Look at that, 0.007. We've got James Bond. This is a James Bond cap. Dun, 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 dun. Who's your favourite Bond? Everyone? Out of all the Bonds we've had, who's your favourite? I know what you're all going to say. You're all going to say Timothy Dalton, aren't you? Yeah, he was easily the best Bond. What about George Lazenby? Right, the last of the caps. Yippee! What you're hearing outside is bird life, so for anyone who might be hearing that, the sort of bird life you're going to be hearing out there are predominantly rainbow lorikeets. So if anyone wants to Google that, if you want to know what a rainbow lorikeet looks like, beautiful little green parrot. They travel around in huge groups, and in the tree just there are probably a couple of hundred of them in there right now. So, and then we've also got coels out here, which make a bit of a kind of sound. And then we've also probably got some ravens around because it's nesting time. So ravens, they eat baby eggs and baby birds and that. So they're probably hanging around, checking out the smorgasbord. What else? That's mainly all I can hear at the moment. So if there's anything weird that comes out, I'll let you know. Coels are evil. Well, they're just doing what they're doing, Dana. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, same with any cuckoo that lays its eggs in another bird's nest. It's kind of horrible, but it's what they do. They've been doing it for a very long time, and it is mean and it's nasty and it's so horrible. But it's just that's how cuckoos are. So, not enough meat on a parakeet. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Led to believe everything in Australia is poisonous. Not everything. Not everything. No. Yeah, I mean, bird life. Yeah, not a lot of poisonous bird life out here. But Alec Guinness was the best Bond. Okay, well, we've put all these caps on here. Now I'm just going to do a quick little check to make sure that I got all the polarities around the right way. Yes, 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 yes. Cool. Now, what I'm also going to do, I don't know why I want to do this, but I'm going to just check to make sure that some of these other caps are the right size. 7.7250, yep. I think the little bits of tape that he's put on are the ones that he's changed. 22050, yep. 1025, he hasn't changed that. This is a 1016. Look, I am going to change this one only because I do know that that's not necessarily the best brand in the world. I will at least check the ESR on it. 47025, 22016, 47010. Yep, cool. So we've definitely. Oh, what? Yep. Yep. All right. So let's just check the ESR of this one. Well, that was a horrible noise, wasn't it? Oh, it's 0. That's really good ASR. 0.005. So I'm going to take him out and check him. Can't be bothered waiting for the thing to heat up, so I'm just going to do this. Phoenix, Arizona, have a sun. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more coastal here where I am at the moment than Arizona, but I can tell you, we sure got some heat here. So this is a 1016. Yeah, I think we're good. Look, I've got it out. I'm just going to change it because we're off to see the wizard. There we go. Let's just compare this one here. .052. It's even higher than that one I took off, but never mind. I know this is a good quality Panasonic. I'm going to use it. It's well within the allowed amount, but yeah, I'm just going to replace that other one because. And then, next thing we're going to do, we'll try and do this quickly because by gum we've been taking a long time with this board. By gum. If I'm missing anything in the chat, I do apologise. I'm getting very, very easily distracted today. So, how are we gonna? Is that gonna? Will that? No, that won't. Oh, 11 degrees C. Yuck. That's a bit chilly for me. Don't like that. 33 C here now. That's more my sort of weather. I like anything over 30. I mean, it's still only the beginning of spring here, so obviously the temperature is, well, it's beautiful at the moment, I have to admit. I mean, this is sort of weather where you can just walk around outside in the nud. I'm not going to, but you can. Yes, it is currently 27 degrees Celsius. Why are tantalums better? Garth, you can ask that question to 10 different people and get 10 different answers. So it is tantalums don't leak. Tantalums are extremely reliable. Tantalums tend to last for a very long time. There are 3 reasons why tantalum would potentially be better. There are reasons why tantalums may not be better, and they might be the fact that when they fail, they can often fail quite spectacularly with explosions and fire and stuff like that. Tantalum is a very rare mineral, so it's quite expensive to mine, so that there's a significant cost involved in making tantalums, and not to mention the fact that it is a finite resource, so we won't necessarily be able to make tantalums forever. What else? Tantalums, I think, are extremely low ESR, I think, and that can cause problems with some devices. But in terms of why tantalums are better, well, they're not always necessarily better for certain tasks, but tantalums, as I say, are very, very reliable. So, you know, and they do last a long time. Now, modern, as Adam McGee has said there, modern electrolytic caps generally don't leak anymore. anything that has a liquid inside it has the potential to leak, but you are quite right. They are being made a hell of a lot better than they were before. But the other thing is that what we have now, we didn't have before, are things called electrolytic polymer hybrids. And they use a powder instead of a liquid electrolyte, which means that they can't leak because there's nothing in there to leak. There's a cost involved in those. Electrolytics can often handle a greater range of variation. So if you were to have something that's likely to produce maybe some voltage spikes, you might be more inclined to use an electrolytic capacitor for that. So anyhow, but I see this come up on Facebook groups all the time, and someone asks questions about, they just jump on and say, hey, should I use electrolytics or tantalums to recap with? And you will, I guarantee you will get like 5 completely different answers coming out of that. I can give you reasons for doing it one way or the other. I can tell you the way I do it, but you know, that's about all I can really do with that sort of stuff. Okay. Loaded question, and nevertheless I still learned something from your answers. So good. No worry, I'm pleased. Thank you. There are obviously other things apart from electrolytics and electrolytics and tantalums. We also have ceramic capacitors, which you'll probably find ceramic the most type of capacitor used. I mean, when you look at a board like, I'm just grabbing one here. You look at a board like this, like a Mac. You know, so this is from inside a Mac Pro. There's probably several hundred ceramic capacitors on this board. So ceramic is another type of capacitor. You've also got niobium. You've got paper film. You've got polypropylene. Lots and lots and lots. And equivalent series resistance, equivalent series resistance, equivalent series resistance, equivalent series resistance. Thank you, Dana. Will I remember? Will I remember? Let's jump across to the microscope and let's have a little bit of an inspectamento. I don't know why, but for some reason, my scenes window disappeared. There we go. I find it way easier to solder electrolytic SMD caps on boards designed for them. It's very true. The pins are the right size, so yeah, I would agree with that. Right, so we're just having a look at this board. We're going to look for anything that's a little bit untoward. It is common to get cracking at the connectors. Now this here is the yoke connector right there, and we don't have any cracks there, which is a good sign. Maybe just a little bit of a start of wear on this one here. You just see there's kind of like a bit of a wrinkling going on. So we'll just get a little bit of extra solder onto that. Sorry about the focus issues with this. This board is such a weird shape that it's hard for me to keep it all in focus all the time. I do this thing whenever I'm soldering these sorts of jumpers. I always flick the iron up at the top so I get a nice little round blob at the top. It is stupid, I know, but I just like it. See, little blobs. See, I got little blobs on the top. Pretty. It's part of I don't know, it's part of a thing that I kind of do when I'm working on these boards, where working on anything when I'm soldering is I like to try and get the solder to do what I want it to do. It's part of, just part of, I guess, learning any sort of skill and getting better at it. Just having that sort of control over it. This is some of the soldering that's been done, I think, by the previous owner, trying to figure out what was going on with the thing. So I think they've just desoldered and soldered a few things. Let's just hope they put them back right. No guarantees there, but let's hope they did. But this has clearly been removed. It looks like it's around the right way, so that's good. Another thing which is really common in these is we've got a transformer just here. Just going to go to the top view Oh God, come on. Come on. This transformer, this big transformer right here, it's really common to have problems with the soldering on the other side of these. So we're going to just clean that up as well. So. Ooh. Horst, hello Horst, welcome to the live stream. There is I should just mention, I have a brief history with Horst. I actually got my Macintosh SE30, from Horst many years ago. Basically started off when I either put up on eBay or something, I can't remember where I put up something for sale. I think it was the giveaway. I think it was Speed Doubler, Connectic Speed Doubler or something like that. And I had a couple of them sealed in plastic. And I put an ad up somewhere for them, and Horst got them, came and picked them up, and started talking to him about vintage Macs and that. And I had a whole stack of bits and pieces for Mac clones. I had CPU daughter cards, I had RAM, I had ROM, I had caches, I had a whole stack. So I just took a whole bunch of them to Horst's place once and swapped him a whole bunch of those things for a Macintosh SE30. Now here's an interesting thing. I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think one of the things that I traded in there was something which has now become so ridiculously rare. I hope you still have it, Horst. You may not. I know that you did have some issues over there, but I think I traded a dual CPU 604E chip. So for some of them who may not know, I think it was the Daystar brand of clone Mac did have, one of the models had 2 slots for a CPU, and you could actually put 2 CPUs in there, and then they were tethered together by a little ribbon cable on the top, and turn one of those old clones into a dual CPU 604E PowerPC. It was Umax, was it? You have it. And can I tell you, Horst, I am so pleased that it is still around, because I was watching Sean from Action Retro. I was watching his stream the other day, and he was talking about the dual CPU option for the Umax. And I was like, oh, I used to have one of those, you know. And of course, they have now become just ridiculously rare because so few people bought them. And I'm just so pleased that that's still around. I mean, I don't regret giving it away to someone who sort of wants it and uses it. But I'm just so pleased that it's still around. So I'm very pleased to hear that, Horst. That is music to my ears. Okay. No, I look. You know, the worst thing, Horst sort of suffered some misfortune, I believe, in the way of a fire or something some years ago, and I was just worried that it might have been something that got damaged that way. I knew that as long as it hadn't been lost there, it would still be around. So. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm very pleased. Yes, of course, I would love to still have it. I would love to still have a lot of those old machines that I had. I ended up getting rid of so many clone Macs because I just didn't think there would ever be any collectability in them or anything like that. And I had heaps of them, probably 10 of them, something like that. And I gave most of them away. I regret doing that, but I don't regret a part like that ending up in the hands of a collector. I really don't. Okay, so we are going to just get rid of the solder from this transformer and redo it, because this can sometimes be the cause of problem. I can smell electrolyte here, so I really do need to give this thing a good old clean. Why aren't you getting hot? Hurry up. Ain't got all day. So I'm undoing every second one. I'll solder them, and then I'll do the other ones. I just do it that way so that the component doesn't fall out if I undo all of them. There. Okay, let's get some fresh solder onto these pins here. I keep yabbing so much that I'm forgetting to. Well, my soldering iron is going to sleep, so I just have to move faster. I have to work faster. Unacceptable. So, Jay House of Moth, you streaming when I've finished? A little bit more work on one of those Mac 2s or whatever? Oh, I've got a presentation tomorrow. Really don't want to do it. Never mind. Okie dokie, we're going to test this in a minute. Oh, there is one other thing I need to check with these. Really common issue with these classics. It's not a major problem, but it's still something that I believe should be fixed. And that is that this metal part along the side here is held onto the board via these little soldery things along here. And they have a really high tendency to crack. So I just want to check to make sure that they are in one piece. PowerBook G4 parts. Turn it into a working PowerBook G4. I would probably trade you those parts for a working PowerBook G4. Just saying. I have got an absolutely immaculate 15-inch PowerBook G4 in my possession. Yeah, see that? See how it's gone through? This is really, really common on these classics. This thing is, it really should not have been held in with solder. No, you can't see it. There we go. See that? These should not have been held in with solder. They should have had some bolts or something like that. I mean, it's just not strong enough. Oh, excuse me. I didn't know how to phrase, I have too many spare parts. There's no such thing. I fail to believe how that works. But look, yeah, Horse, I will get in touch with you. If you are still in the Sydney area, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'll be able to get in touch with you, I think, on Facebook. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can do a trade or something. I've got so many bits and pieces here now. I can sort of show you what I've got in the way of surplus, and you can show me what you got in the way of surplus, and we'll do a trade. Sounds very, very amicable. Righty. Okay, so we're going to just get some nice fresh solder onto this, make this joint nice and strong again. Strongish. Need a lot of heat for this because obviously we're heating a very large piece of metal here, and in order for the solder to stick to it, we want it to be nice and hot. Let that cool down. Ow. Ow. Okay, there's one. This one will probably be cracked too. And it is. And it is. Sold my Apple IIc to buy a PC. What the hey? Oh, got a super chat. Got a super chat. Thank you, Garth. Why is solder good? Everything. That's why. It's good. Everything is good about it. I've been soldering actually since I was very, very young. I even did a little bit of silver soldering, which is a little bit stronger. This is obviously the main purpose of this solder is to conduct electricity. So, which is of course what it's doing for us. There are a few things that I've got a few surplus of, you know, in terms of computer bits and pieces and working computers and stuff like that. I don't know why I have so many, but I have 4 of the 12-inch G4 PowerBooks. Don't ask me why, but I have 4. I think 4 of them. I have a 15-inch. I've got a bunch of 13-inch MacBooks, you know, the Intel type ones. I've got a few G3 iBooks, as in not the clamshells, the smelly ones. Oh, Joe, don't do it. Hang on. It's gone already. It's gone already. Something series resistance. Oh man, why do I have so much trouble with that word? Why? It's like Jay and Scholastic. Jay just never seems to remember the word Scholastic. I can remember Scholastic, but I can't remember equivalent. I'm so angry at myself. So angry at myself. I might get it tattooed. I'll get it tattooed on my forehead or something like that. Just cleaning up some of these solder joints from the owner of this computer. Just don't like the look of some of them. Bad solder joint. Bad. Right. I think it's time for us to test this and see whether I've made any difference at all. It's probably still stuffed, but it might be better. We'll see. Of course, things could be cooked on this thing now because it's had the wrong size caps in it. Who knows? Anything is possible. Okay, time for the top view. Yay. Waiting for a board to scan at 1200 dpi. What you scanning there, Joe? What you making? Can't be Goodwick. His wick works. This is Goodwick. Goodwick. It is Goodwick. Yes, very good. Yes, it's good. I like particularly the 2mm wide stuff. It comes in 1.5, 2, and I think 3. For what I am doing, the 1.5 is the 2mm is the way to go. Incidentally, anyone who's wondering about that graphics card that I did the repair on recently, the that one, Ridge Strex. I'm not much of a graphics card person. Still waiting to hear. He has received it, but his power cable is not with him. He needs to get his power cable from somewhere else to test it. So he has the board, but he has not yet tested it. So we don't know if it works yet. So I apologise to folks. that I haven't been able to report on the status of that one, but hopefully we'll find out soon enough. I bought a few off AliExpress, eBay, and they're terrible. I buy my good wick from a shop, a store here in Australia called JCar. They're very, very close. They're very nearby, so it's very easy for me to buy it. And I just go in there and I grab my wick, and I've been very, very happy with it, I have to say. Really never had any issue with good wick at all. And boy, do I go through a lot of it. I mean, pretty much every time I go into that shop, I just grab a spool of wick. I mean, it's just, you know, oh, I'm here, let's grab some wick. Because I just go through it at such a rate. Right. JCar sell good wick. That is correct. Putting everything together here. This like little ground cable, so important to attach. Make sure that you do not forget to attach it when you're working on these Macs. Bad things will happen if you forget to attach it. All of the standard warnings, standard warnings when working inside these things. Lots of dangers. Will Robinson. Right, so let's go and get my little classic board again, which I believe works. And we'll pop this in. Pop. Poppity pop. And if this doesn't work, I will not submit you to any more of this. I will start doing something else or end the stream or something like that. I will not be submitting anyone else to further classic analog board boredom. Yeah, get in there, you. Really should zoom out a bit, shouldn't I? I'm a bit zoomed in. Again, not going to connect the hard drive at this stage because all we want to do is see if it switches on. We will change the view to this one. Okay. Chemwix by Chemtronics. I'd give it a try. I am missing large amounts of the chat, so I apologise. JCar don't have any wick listed on their website. Curious. I'll check. Did you search for desoldering braid? Because I don't think they actually call it wick. Or just search for GUT, G-W-T. Oh, JCar. And I search for G-W-T. And yep, I can see it there. 3mm GUT desolder braid. So they've got 3mm, the 2mm, and the 1.5mm. So definitely there, but yeah, don't search for the word wick. Just search for braid or desolder braid or just for GUT, and you should find it there. Right, so time for testing. I do not have particularly high hopes of this working, but we'll give it a go anyway, because that's what we do here. And going to plug in 240 of the finest Australian volts. And switch them on. 3, 2, 1. Still dead as. I'll just quickly check and see. I really would not be surprised with having those incorrect size caps in there that something has now been fried, which is not really what I want, because it means I now have to go in and do diagnostics. And I don't want to do that. But at least we did sort out a few things there. At least we now do know that we definitely have the right caps in there. We did check the fuse, by the way, so if anyone's thinking, hey, did you check the fuse? Yes, we did check the fuse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, absolutely dead. Nothing getting through at all. So, you know, it's definitely something going on in the primary, I suspect, because just getting nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. So there'll have to be some inspections going on in there, but that is not what's going to happen today, because I am now bored with this. Taking my ball and going home. Right, what's next? What's next? Oh, that's right. I was going to have a look at the spaghetti Mac. Oh, I haven't got a power supply for that here. So that's going to be a bit hopeless. We'll have a look at it anyway. Seeing as the desk is clean, I've actually got some room to look at this today. Gloves getting stuck to it. So, this is a Macintosh 2 that was sent to me by a customer, and I called it the Spaghetti Mac. The reason I called it that was because it had a lot of traces all over the place like spaghetti. Quadro 840 AV, no. I mean, I do need to work on that, but I really need to concentrate when I'm working on that, so I won't be doing that during a live stream. That thing, that kills me, that thing, every time I touch it. It kills me a little bit, killing me softly with 840 AV. Steve would know nothing about that. So, this is a large board. Jay, who has been working on the Macintosh 2 and 2Xs, he will be very familiar with the all of the joy associated, excuse me, with this. Is the cable plugged in? Yes, the cable is plugged in. I think so. Pretty sure I plugged it in. Yeah, cable's definitely plugged in. Should I try a different logic board? Don't even know if that logic board works. If I've got another one here, I'll try another one. Standing up. Why is it so difficult? Here is a classic 2 board. Let's try that one, shall we? All right, we're just doing this just to satisfy everyone's curiosity. Ow! Oh, ow, 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 ow. Plastic digging into thumb. Equivalent series resistance. It's equivalent that I have trouble with. Series resistance, I think, is pretty much locked in. But I'm just not sure about equivalent. I'm just not sure if that's going to stay in. Equivalent. 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 What's one way I can remember the word equivalent? Equivalent. 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 Right. Okay, one more test here, just with a different logic board, just in case that logic board that I've been testing with is fried, but I don't think it is, but just in case. And no, it's still dead. The problem that I have with these sorts of boards like this is that when someone else has tinkered with it, I don't necessarily know what they have done, and that's a little bit. I get a little bit wary about that. Because I not only have to try and find faults, but I've got to check and see if they've actually gone in and done something wrong, like put the wrong caps in. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens with that. Now, my little thing here is telling me that I've got 37 people watching at the moment. I believe that is what it's telling me. So, hello to you all, to all 37. Still dead with a known working logic board, yes. For some reason didn't. Right at the beginning, I said, Jay, the House of Moth. I said to Tom that that you had done this. That you bought some blue scuzzies, even though I think Jay said, that's right. Yeah, bought some blue scuzzies. So yeah. All right. So, Jay, any idea what sort of board this is? Any idea? Any? Oh. Now, what we are going to do with this one. Hello, chicken. There we go. That'll do. That's big enough. Oh, look how much space it takes up. Goodness. Goodness. Gracious. Just no room. All right. All right, so this is a Macintosh 2 board. How do we generally tell it's a Macintosh 2 board as opposed to the ones that came later? This guy here. This little black chip here, it's a PMMU, Page Memory Management Unit. The Macintosh 2 actually says Macintosh 2 up here as well. Sorry, 2X. 2X up there, this one says Macintosh 2 down here. But just at a glance, I can always tell it's a Macintosh 2 because I see that. See these two socketed chips here, and then I see that. Some white gunk on here. So, I have gone through and done a fair few trace repairs on this and it still doesn't work. So one of the things I have to do with this is kind of keep hunting for a problem. So I'm going to just get this under the microscope. We're going to have a little bit of a look. We're going to just keep looking. And it's dead. It's completely dead. It doesn't even do like a sad Mac chime or something like that. It's completely dead. So I want to just keep looking around, see if I can't find something wrong with it. I'll start off on this side of the board to see if anything has been knocked off by accident, which does sometimes happen. No. Oh, no. I'm only going to run with this probably about another half an hour. I'm going to try and keep it around about a 3-hour stream. I've got other things that I plan to do on this evening, and I'm sure Jay will start streaming as soon as I finish. Okay, let's look at it under a microscope. We'll see some of the stuff that I've done. We'll see if there's anything new I can do. Equivalent. It's another pigeon. Hello. Okay, all right, here we go. Oh wow, jeez, I'm like way behind on the chat. Oops. The power circuit battery is flat. Traces, more traces. Go live as soon as you finish. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Are you going to post the link to it in there, Jay, so we're all ready for it when it happens? There we go. And microscope. So let's just quickly go over some of the problems we've got with this one to start off with. So this is where all of the trace damage was initially. It was around this power button. Here's the power button at the end. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, look, we've still got an old super chat sitting on the microscope view. It's one of the bonuses of this software. And fixing a recapped Mac Classic analog board. We're done with that now. I better rename this. I better call it Back to the, oops, I'll get out of there. Hang on, the spaghetti mac to again. There we go. Right, so we've got replace, trace, replace here, from here to here, going around under there. We've got a little bit of fixie going on here. We've got a trace repair running underneath the RAM slots here, going all the way along there, and along there, and still along there, and it's finishing there. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Whoopsie. And so what we're going to do, the first thing I'm going to do, actually, you know what I really should do before I do anything? This is so vital. I am going to connect this up to a power supply and a speaker, and we'll press the button and we'll see what it does. Actually, we don't need to press the button because I'm going to connect it to a power supply that will hardwire it on. So if there's anyone here who's looking at this and is thinking, oh, but you haven't got batteries in it, it won't start without the batteries, I'm bypassing that. So there we go. So we've got that. Let's get ourselves a little speaker. Pretty sure this one is good. Easy way to test. Get ourselves a multimeter, like thusly. Put it on resistance. Measure the resistance across the two pins. And I am getting 16 ohms. This is a 16 ohm speaker, which means I'm getting the right resistance across there. So that speaker's good. So we're going to plug him into the speaker connector right there, like that, so we can hear if it does anything. Then it will make a horrible noise with that RAM, but I've got some RAM I can put in, so we can at least do that. Get my power supply. This one, this is the right one. This is the right one. So let's just plug this in. No. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Right, so that one is there. That one is there. Really need to get myself a big connector so that I don't have to do this with lots of little connectors like I am here. It's really hard to do this with rubber gloves on, so I may end up taking these off. Like now. There we go. And this one goes there. Right, so it's a power supply that will completely and totally bypass the startup circuit. So we don't need to worry about there being any problems with the startup circuit. We don't need to worry about there being a battery in there. None of the aforementioned. Let's get some RAM. You need slow RAM for this stuff. Hopefully this RAM is slow enough. If it's not, yeah, well, if it's not, well, bad luck. Right, got here bank A, bank B. If we're only going to populate one bank, it needs to be bank A. So let's get some RAM in there. Right, now let's get some power into this thing and see what it does, which I believe will be absolutely nothing. Did anyone else hear that? It sounded an awful lot like a chime to me. Thank you, Charlie. Another big thanks to Bruce and his awesome live streams. Be sure to check out his awesome website, recapmac.com.au. Thank you very much for that, Charlie. He's not only did he give me a super chat, but he also plugged my channel. So much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that was a little ding. I'll get the microphone nice and close. Equivalent series resistance is futile. Right, okay, well I guess we stick a graphics card in now and plug a screen in and see if it works. And then the next thing to do will of course be to test the startup circuit. Why the hell didn't this work before? Has this always worked? Am I just... Okay, let's power him off. I'm so confused. Let me just look this one up. I'm going to look it up. I have records because I have so many things here. I can't honestly be expected to remember all this stuff off the top of my head, especially when you're old like I am.
You're so old. Is what? What did you say? Was that you or me? Oops. Back two. What? Yes. What?
Mac 2. Okay. Spaghetti Mac problems. Let's see what my notes say. Replace spaghetti traces with new trace repairs. Still doesn't boot. Further inspection required. Well, it certainly sounds like it's booting to me. Right, let's get a graphics card. Always keep one on hand. Better power this off. Yes, I already have. This is a Interware graphics card. They were, I guess, famous or something once. Interware. Interware. Yep, whack that on there. Oh, there's the screens all the way over there. I'm going to have to get up. I'm going to have to get out of my chair. Actually get out of my chair. Cross. Righty. Now, got myself this little adapter here. This one here has a little cover, and inside we have 2 rows of 8 dip switches. And this allows me to configure this all different ways, lots of different resolutions and settings and stuff like that. Now you will find some that only have a single row, and you will find some that have a row of 10. You know, some will have 8, some will have 10, that sort of thing. The main thing about this one here that I really like is it has the setting, it allows you to do sync on green. Some of the cheaper ones with fewer switches and stuff like that won't allow you to configure for sync on green. And a lot of these really early ones did a sync on green thing, particularly the Macintosh LC, Macintosh 2CI built-in video. They do this sync on green thing. So it's good to have one of these ones. I believe the one that has the row of 10 dip switches will also allow you to sync on green, but we'll just see how we go with this one. So I'm going to plug him into this new bus card. This has like a little switch selector at the back here where I believe allows you to do different resolutions, but I've never really tried much. Just getting up now to grab the screen, which hopefully still has some battery power left in it. Oh man, someone is cooking something nice. Oh wow, it smells like a curry. I live in an area with a very, very large Indian population, and I've got to tell you, some of the food smells in the yard sometimes are just sensational. Wowzers. Oh man, yummo. I hate that I know what you're talking about now. I need to work on an Intel board ASAP. Yes, so Jay, who said he would never go beige, has been working on beige. Now he has a very, very specific reason for going beige. He's not, you know, looking to actually become a collector or something. He has these computers. He wants to restore them. He wants to sell them as working. So, you know, that's all great. But he has, of course, had to have a bit of a crash course in this stuff. So I think it's good. I think knowledge is a good thing, whether you want to work on it or not. You know, I mean, knowing more about these computers is great. So let's power this guy up and see if we get a video. Oh, source. I fell for this last time. I don't know if you guys saw, but I didn't change the source. So, and of course these things, if they're not connected to the right source at the time you switch them on, they tend not to work at all. So switch them off, just start again. If it's going well with this display, we're likely to see that go green. We have not seen it go green yet. I will try a different card because, to be honest, I haven't fired this card up in a long time. It might be Cactus. I'll go up to the house and get a better card. Don't you need a ROM? No, not for the Mac 2. The Mac 2 has the ROM soldered onto the board. The Mac 2X has a ROM chip, but you don't need, actually not soldered onto the board, it's in sockets. It's underneath the screen here. That's them there. Here's your ROMs here. So we're all ROMmed up. You'll find on the 2X that rather than the ROMs being here, you have a socket. There is actually a spot here for a socket. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a big blob there and a big blob there, and there's all these little dots, and their dots run all the way across. So instead of having these sockets here, these little dip sockets, you could actually have a ROM socket there. But yeah, no, we don't need it with the Mac 2 there. So okay, we're not getting any video from that. We won't head for the hills just yet. I'm going to go get a different display card, and we'll try a different NUBUS slot as well. One that I know definitely works because I've tried it recently. Okay, so I'm going to press the little be right back soon back, get it, back. Why do I keep losing my windows? Calm. Scenes, there we go, that's what I need. Okay, so just going to check this here. Right, okay, and we are going to go back soon. I'll be right back. Just remember, everyone, this back soon sometimes blares out fairly loud. So if you've got your volume cranked up, maybe just turn it down for a sec. Back in a moment. Hello. Okay, so is Australia PAL? Just curious. Yes, Australia is PAL. Thank you for answering that, Horst. We are indeed. Those who aren't aware, we've got a few different types. You've got CCAM, see every colour as magenta. You've got NTSC, which stands for never twice the same colour. And then you've got PAL for peace at last. But anyhow, yes, it's not important here because that's... So I've got a few different cards here. We're going to try probably this one out next. This one here is the it's the 824 NUBUS 824 card. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, hey, why aren't there any slots there? And the reason is this is already maxed out with the top amount of VRAM. So if you have one with slots in it, you have got the 4.8 card. And then if you populate it with VRAM sims, it becomes an 824. But this one is already an 824 because it's already got the maximum amount of VRAM on it that you can have up here. So no need to put any slots on it. So there's that one. I've got this little beauty here. Actually, we'll get to that one last because that one's so sexy. This is another interwear one, like this one, interwear one. This one is a little bit different in that it has a little row of dip switches along here, whereas this one has a little switch at the back. I've never found, I mean, if anyone ever finds any documentation on these, I would love to know what these dip switches do, but who knows? So there's another Interwear one. I've got a couple more as well, but for the moment we'll just try this one here. This is the other one that I've got. Got this one as a donation recently. This is actually an Apple branded card, even though it says Dolphin on it, and it was not a Dolphin card. This was an 824 GC card. And this one's got a great big fat square chip here, and obviously AMD, and then it's got 2 little VRAM expansions on here as well. And this one will give, this one's actually got graphics acceleration on it. So if you put the driver in with this one actually goes pretty darn zippy. I like this one, I'm probably going to put this one in my Quadra 700. I was going to do that the other day, but then I got distracted. All right, let's try a different video card in a different slot. But look, it's quite good. I mean, if we've just got a problem with these new bus slots, I can just focus on that area specifically. But we'll just see. We'll see. You never know. We might get lucky. Let's go. We've now got a different new bus card, different slot, same cables, same everything else. Plug in some power, see what it does. And still not getting anything there. It could be my little adapter because I'm on sync on green, but normally I don't have that issue. I will just check that I am on the right source, because I did do that last time and I just made such a dig of myself. Now, we're definitely on VGA, so that's good. Had bad luck with VGA adapters. Should I try a different VGA adapter? I mean, I think I have another one floating around here somewhere. I've got a cable that's just around here somewhere. Where are you, cable? Oh, here he is. Here he is. Different one. So this one here, this one's only got 8 switches on it. And I've got this currently set on VGA SVGA mode. VGA SVGA mode. 3, 4. See how it deals with that. Might make no difference, might make every difference. At this stage, I don't think it will make a difference, but we will test it just to be thorough. Right, he's plugged in. Give it power again. You know what I need to do? I need to get a new bus card, sorry, an Ethernet card in here to see whether the little Ethernet light comes on, to see whether the new bus is even getting power. That's something I need to check for. But look, I'm feeling really good about this, considering that this didn't work at all. At least it gives me some areas to check out. And what I will do, I'm going to just try one more thing here. Actually, I'm going to try 2 more things, but this is the second last thing I'm going to try. I'm just going to try the very first new bus slot, just for fun. Okay, I definitely don't think we are getting any video signal, so that's that. But what I will do is I'll check and see whether it will read SCSI. So I've got my little SCSI 2SD version 5.5 here. I'm going to plug this on here. We'll see whether that gets some power and whether we start seeing some flickery lights going on here. I thought that card only outputs at 67 kilohertz. It's possible, but that should still work with this one, which we tested, and it didn't. We'll do our due diligence. We'll try this guy here as well, because he's a big ass, badass mofo. So I'm going to get this and I'm going to put it on 640 by 480. Let's face it, if it can't handle 640 by 480, we're in trouble. Okay, plugged in. Net. No. I really don't think I'm getting activity in the new bus slots, only because I've played around with Mac 2s a lot before, and I really don't normally have this much trouble getting a video signal out of it of some description. So, burritos, yummy! I love burritos. Burritos. I'll tell you what I really want for lunch today. I want a kebab. I so want a kebab. I might even see if I can talk the missus into that. I'll go get a kebab. Would you like a kebab for lunch? Yes, please. Oh, I didn't check and see what was going on with the SCSI. Sorry. So, does anyone else watch? I wasn't watching. No lights. Doner kebab. Yum. What is a kebab? A kebab is, I believe the term that is often used for it in America is a shawarma, I think. They were called kebabs out here, I think, because I think English people called them kebabs as well, but also because when we had, at the time that we were starting to get exposed to these sorts of foods, Australians were probably not very tolerant with words in other languages, and a kebab was a word that we knew out here. It's essentially just Lebanese bread with sort of like roasted meat, roasted processed meat, bit of lettuce, tomato, onion, tabbouleh, maybe a bit of hummus and some barbecue sauce, all sort of wrapped up into a tube. Sort of looks like a burrito, but on a grander scale. It's like about 3 times bigger than one. And damn, they're nice. Shawarma. Yeah, so look, I'm not seeing any activity here on SCSI, so I still think that we are, we're only running on a few cylinders. But for us to get a chime means that it's talking to the ROMs. It also means the CPU is working. What we're probably looking at here are a few of these kind of peripheral traces and stuff going along around here. So this is actually like really, really good. I mean, there's still work to be done, no doubt about that. But to be getting a chime is a massive bonus. So I will just have a very, very quick inspection. We'll just look and see if we see anything obvious, and then finding that I'll probably just call it a night. Let everyone get some shut eye. Oichi. I can go and get my kebab. Yummy, yummy. Yum, yum. And I also need to do some... I'm going to go out and buy some stuff. Prep for dinner. I'm doing spaghetti bolognese for dinner tonight. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Shawarma is freaking awesome. So I'm pretty sure that, yeah, essentially when I say kebab, if you imagine shawarma, I think that's pretty much what we're talking about. Shawarma is the right term. It's just, as I say, we're stupid out here. Microscope. All right. So some of the areas that typically get really bad trace damage on these boards, good old Jay will know, of course, because he's been working on them. You have these problems here around these diodes, or this Q3 and these row of diodes here as well. It's very common to have trace damage around here. As you can see, I've already gone through and done a fair bit of tinning of these. So these have been scraped and tinned already, so feeling pretty good about those. Not uncommon to end up a little bit of damage around here as well, which is one of the reasons why I'd be sort of concerned about what's going on with these new bus here. But the fact that I'm not getting any SCSI either suggests that it's not necessarily isolated to a new bus issue. It's probably another issue. We've got all of these really cruddy looking traces going along around here. Now, if I was having a problem with the RAM, like a busted trace with the RAM, I probably wouldn't get that chime. Hang on. I hope you have 2 subs next time we see it. Okay. We shove more memory in there. Why? Why? What's wrong with 4? I start these up with 4 all the time. I might have some 256s I can put in here. All right. Just to make everyone happy, I'm going to put some 256s in. I don't have any more ones down here. Not that'll work in this anyway. That's all right. Some of these are pretty grubby. None of these are matching. Crap. Let's not just drop them all on the floor. There, that's a matching. That's a matching. Is the one I dropped on the floor a matching? Nope. Hope you have 20k subs. I hope so too. Thank you very much for joining. I assume you're saying goodbye by saying that. Wouldn't boot until I had sticks in it. All right, okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it for the good of the people. Isn't this just the worst thing in the world that I have 3 of one type and 3 of another type, but I don't have 4 of any of them? Oh well, I'm just going to grab these ones. Right, and try it with 4. Sorry, with 8. Got the big ones in bank A, got the little ones in bank B. If this works, that would be amazing. There we go. So we now have 5 megabytes of RAM installed. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You think I'm getting a bit too big for my boots, am I, Jay? Getting a little bit too posh and arrogant, yeah? Hey, look at me, I've got 20,000. Where was that display card? This moth is still on the microscope. All this time I've been doing this, I've been sharing my microscope with a moth on the eyepiece. I mean, it did take me a while to get 20,000. It's not like it just happened overnight. I've had a YouTube channel for years. And all these glorious live streams. All right, let's see what happens this time. We don't even... Oh, you need the speaker for a chime, don't you? Correct me if I'm wrong. Here we go. Is this the working speaker? Or the not working speaker? Now we're getting nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which suggests to me that there's probably something wrong with those RAM sims. Or have I got the wrong speaker? No, it's definitely the right speaker. Oh no, chimed that time. Just had to think about it a bit. See, normally when I would restart this, within a matter of seconds I would see one single flicker of light from the SCSI to SD. And that's not happening. I'm getting no flicker at all. No little flicker. Check to make sure that we haven't got a blown fuse there, of course. Let's just check that now. These things do sometimes come to me with blown fuses on the SCSI, which means that they don't get any termination power. Nope. fuse is fine. So I did the experiment and I put 8 sims in, and we've basically got the same problem. So I am still of the belief that there are further problems on this board that need to be investigated. How's the SCSI fuse? Yes, just checked it. Elemento, hello, thank you for joining. We are currently looking at a Mac 2. I must apologise, we are about to finish, and it's not because of you, but I have been at it now for about 3 hours, and I do have a few other things that I need to try and get done today, including eating some lunch. But I'm looking at a Macintosh 2 board here. Of course, I mean, it has to be a 2 being this bloody big. And it's one that I did some trace repair and did some recapping on a while ago, and it was dead. However, I've just fired it up today. I was going to have another look at it, and it chimes. I'm not getting any video, and I'm not getting any activity from the SCSI, but it does actually chime, which is a big step up from where I was before. I don't know why it suddenly works now and didn't before, but that's, you know, that's just life. So what I really need to do now is I need to try and isolate whatever the problem is that it is stopping this. Excuse me. What is stopping this from? Excuse me. You should get a crash sound with bad RAM. That's right. Yeah. Okay. What about the batteries? Does it require it to boot? I'm bypassing that. So, William D, yes, you're exactly right. It would normally require batteries to boot. But I'm actually bypassing that with a power supply that is completely, totally bypassing the startup circuit. And by bypassing the startup circuit, it means we can start it without batteries. It's one of the things that I do here when I'm testing these things. I have this specific power supply that I use on the Mac 2 so that I can just, when someone sends me a Mac 2 and says it's dead, and the first thing I do is I plug it into my power supply here. If it starts, I know the problem is with the startup circuit. Because if they're saying it's dead, or it could be the power supply as well, of course, but assuming the power supply is known good, I know it's the startup circuit that is likely to be causing the problem if it works with a separate power supply. So, so I know that you know, I know that it chimes. That's good. That's a really good thing. And of course, as I mentioned before, this does have fairly significant trace damage, and the chances are I've just missed something, that's all. There's probably a trace on here somewhere that I haven't found a break, and I've just got to repair it. And we just have to look in all the obvious spots. So the obvious spots that you generally have issues on these are down at the bottom corner of the board where the sound chips are. So this is sort of down near the CPU region, and we've got 2 sound chips, one here and one here. It's because it is stereo output, so you've got one for the left and one for the right. And you often end up with, well, there's a bit of gunk there, but I don't think that's related. We've got some gunk there. This is all just leftover gunk from when I was doing recapping, so don't worry too much about that. So you often see a little bit of corrosion around these areas here, so this is a really good area to inspect. All these sorts of traces here, checking and see that they're all looking good. So what I'm looking for is little dark spots in them. Just let me clean some of this gunk off here. Gunk. A lot of corrosion in the SCSI pins. A gaggle of 2X's not long ago. A lot of rotten traces even without battery leakage. Yeah, yep. This, I have found exactly the same thing as well. One of the things I do say to people, if you have a Mac 2 or a Mac 2X, if someone says, oh, I haven't recapped mine yet, what I would generally say to anyone with a Mac 2 or a Mac 2X at this particular time, you have missed the window of opportunity to repair it without there being some peripheral damage done either from leaky caps or from a leaky battery. Your window of opportunity has passed. It doesn't mean that the computer can't be repaired, but you are almost definitely going to need to do not only recapping, but repair as well for a computer of this age. I would say you might get maybe a 15-20% chance that you get hold of one where there is no trace damage, and all you need to do is replace the battery and replace the capacitors. But most of the boards of this age, you will not only need to recap it, you will need to have repairs done to it as well. So that's my general recommendation to anyone who has one of these. Just, don't leave it any longer. It's only going to get worse. So around the sound chips, we often end up with corrosion. We always end up with corrosion up around this power button. So there's a power button there. You can see I've already repaired quite a bit there. And we've got a fair bit of gunge over here as well. Gunge. So as I say, I'm just looking for dark spots or gaps in these green traces. I've done this repair that runs underneath these RAM slots, and I sure hope that holds. I don't want to have to do that again because that really sucked. This is where the majority of the damage was along these traces here. Some of these might look like they're dark spots, but they're actually just little blobs of solder that are sticking up. So we're actually good with those. I may end up having to take these battery things off. The battery holders off, because I think I might need to inspect under them again. Oh, sorry, moth. The moth finally decided to hop off the microscope, and now he's on the board. Shall we say hello to Mr. Moth? Hello, Mr. Moth. Doesn't he have a fuzzy head? Fuzzy head, Mr. Moth. Hello. Can I send you outside now? He's sleepy. Oh. I suspect he's just landed on the floor. Never mind. I tried. Right. This scalpel is so disgusting, I'm going to replace it. How have we been going for? We're going for 303. I will finish up very, very shortly, so if anyone is thinking, my goodness, when is it going to end? It's soon, very soon. Deathly afraid of moths. That moth is super cute. Yes, there is actually another one sitting here as well on my paper towel holder. It must be moth time of year. Moth. So this is another area where you can often end up with a fair bit of corrosion around these little guys here. These ones aren't too bad, certainly not as bad as some of the other ones I've seen. And of course, travelling along here, I will need to look at some of these a little bit more closely. Definitely around UB2. This one here that has this, very, very common for that trace to be broken, this little loopy-doopy one. Really, really common. You generally don't need to worry about these traces here when they keep going, because they head out to this little edge connector, and that edge connector is really not needed for the operation of the thing. I assume it was just for testing, internal testing would be my guess. Okay, so let's try a little bit of sideways inspection. What happened with the analog board at the beginning? Still not working, and I couldn't be bothered doing any more work on it. We replaced the caps, but I have real concerns with the fact that it was actually recapped with the wrong caps. So I'm worried that something might be fried on the thing, so I've got to go in and do a greater level of diagnostics. And I did not want to do that on the live stream because it would bore even me. So I didn't want to bore everyone else with it. So I will keep people up to date with that, but that's kind of where we are at the moment with that. looking for potentially little solder balls or any cracks in these pins. Some of these pins sometimes crack up the top here, and so I'm just looking out for that. Oh god, these boards are so bloody big. How do I hold this? How do I do this? How? Nope. Yeah. 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 Sorry, I'm not responding to the chat at the moment, but I'm staring down the microscope. Maybe one day I'll have a way of bringing up the live chat in my microscope view, but not at this stage. So with this sort of stuff, it's a little bit trying to find a needle in a haystack. Just looking for problems. There may be an issue under one of the chips. You know, we may actually find that there's some corrosion, some damage under a chip. So that's always something that I don't look forward to. And of course, there's always that worry that there could be a break, you know, sort of to one of these ROMs. I would have thought that if that was the case, we would not be chiming, but, you know, who knows. Oh, I am never boring. Well, that's lovely of you to say, but, oh, I can be boring. Just ask my wife. Where's that one go to? Okay. Okay. Drugs are bad. Okay. Okay. Just wondering if it's worth me lifting these chips off and looking underneath them. I have had ones in the past where it has been an absolute train wreck around these chips in terms of corrosion. And I just wonder whether there might be something underneath these chips. So given that we're so close to the corrosion here, but I don't know, it's a lot of work. This is one of the problems this is one of the reasons why I often don't end up live streaming these sorts of problem boards, because you know, when I'm doing the recap, you're sort of like, hey, we're going to start, we're going to take the caps off, and then we're going to clean up the pads, and then we're going to put new caps on, and then we're going to reboot, and wow, we've got a chime, how cool is that? Whereas when you're doing stuff like this, you can just sit there trying this and then trying that. Oh, chicken's just rocked up. Hello, chicken. Now these, if I remember rightly, I think are a 4-layer board. Layer on the top, layer on the bottom. Then there's a layer for voltage inside and a layer for ground inside. Pretty sure that's it. Do you have a tech step? No. I'll tell you who does have a tech step. Steve has a tech step, but I do not have a tech step. I would like to get hold of one, but they just always go for ridiculously high prices. So, no tech step for me. Just bear with me a moment. Yes, I'm back. Okay, so anyone sees a spot or a broken trace or damage, just sing out, just say, "It's behind you." These are going to have to come off, aren't they? It's almost midnight. Yeah. Nate, hello. Thank you for turning up. And I will say the same thing to you as I said to Elemano just a moment ago. Please don't take it personally, but I'm about to finish. I have been at this now for 3 hours, and it is time for me to get some refreshment. Not to mention the fact that it has been a fairly frustrating thing today. I started with a Macintosh Classic analog board and found that the person who had recapped it had actually recapped it with a few caps in the wrong place. So I fixed all that up, but it still doesn't work. And I think something's cooked on there. I've now got to try and find what it is that's cooked on there. That I'm not looking forward to at all. And then I thought, just fill in a bit of time. I'll grab this Spaghetti Mac from one of my previous live streams, the Spaghetti Mac, which was dead. And then I gave it some power and it actually chimed, much to my surprise and my delight as well. And I thought, well, let's see what's going on. We're still not getting any video and we're not getting any SCSI activity. So there's still problems with this that I do have to find, but piffle. I should have just used Wick for this. Bruce is lazy, should have used Wick. Tech requires the machine to boot from SCSI usually, so the machine needs to be in a fairly working state to show signs of life. Probably not too good for this one. Let's get the Wick. This is the Gut Wick, where someone has already had a very serious go at the old Gut Wick. So I must say, I do like it. Kind of wish they came in metal spools though, because when they're in plastic spools, you can end up Melting the plastic. Uh-oh. That's a nice big bit that came off there. So it's not a problem. It's not like we're it's going to cause us any sort of major issues with this, but yeah. Kan man ikke stå der? Come on, come out. There we go. There we are. Okay, now I've got a nice bit of burned plastic all over that. This pack too has been a real labour of love or hatred. Labour of hatred. So I've just removed the battery holders to see if it reveals anything. I mean, I wouldn't have put the battery holders on without kind of checking under it first, so it has already been looked at once, but I just figured I would give it another look. Let's get this white paint off, just in case there's damage under the white paint. And there isn't. All right, let's just check. Get the old multimeter out, the beepity beep beep machine, and we'll go from here to here. Yep. Here to here. Yep. Here to here. Yep. Here to here. Yep. Here to here. Here to here. Oh, to there. Okay. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. All right. Okay, well, I think that's it. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's it. We've seen enough for today. So yeah, today is not necessarily what I would call a success, especially seeing as we have had some really good things happening lately in terms of getting things working. You know, SE30s and stuff like that. I do have another SE30 that was sent to me. Maybe I'll just recap that next time, seeing as I have better luck with them. At least I got a chime from this, and I really didn't think this even chimed before, so we've definitely made, we didn't really make progress, it just discovered progress. So, didn't do anything to get it, didn't do anything to earn it. Well, apart from the previous trace repairs, but yeah, we've, yeah, anyhow. All right, folks, well, I will say we had fun in the chat. Yes, we do have to say that. I have been able to enjoy the pleasure of the company of everyone here. We're still sitting at around about 35 viewer mark at the moment. Thank you everyone for the thumbs ups. Thank you for the 2 people for the thumbs downs. What else? Thank you for the super chats from all the many folks who gave me a super chat today. Really do appreciate it. It's always appreciated when people do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, most importantly is thank you for the pleasure of your company. I have enjoyed it. Anyone who has posted in the chat and I didn't read it out or didn't notice or something, not personal, I do apologise. The chat tends to fly by pretty quickly at times and I do miss things. But what I do have to do, very importantly, I must promote Jay the House of Moth. He's dropped the link in there. He is about to start live streaming now, so you can, anyone here who is just in the mood to keep going, just jump across there, House of Moth. If you haven't subscribed to him, do that as well, and check out and watch him work with these great big clunky computers as well. So Thanks again, folks. I will see you at the next one. Hopefully we'll be live streaming next weekend. Also going to have some other content coming out. Yes, I promise it will actually come out eventually. So have a good one and see you next time. Bye.